Shocking chakras.
Soy creamy.
Weird dreams.
Oh, only in my dreams, as real as it may seem, and the in my dreams. I love you, Deborah Gibson. Oh, only in my 1, 2, 3, 4. Sitting on the bench, writing's really hard. We need another snack. And that is just a fact. Oh.
Hi, this is Shauna.
And this is Trisha.
And this is Two Girls on a Bench.
The podcast.
We write on the bench? Poor Trisha. Trisha's having a rough time on the bench right now.
We snack.
Most of all, we procrastinate on the bench. Trisha's what we would say to a young child is she's a giggle monster right now. She's like completely lost her mind.
I've lost my mind.
It's a little late.
I'm sorry.
It's a little bit late.
Sorry.
She keeps trying to record and only records like one track. We've done this take like 12 times.
12 times?
I'm exaggerating. It's probably just 3 times. But
I'm sorry, you guys. I just can't do it.
but you did it. You're fine. But it was a long road.
All right. What's our quote?
Speaking of
do it.
Nothing. I don't know if we weren't talking about anything. I have a quote.
Speaking of a podcast.
Speaking of quotes that open our podcast about writing, but this isn't a writer, but it's a great quote. So we're just doing that now. I just went on a tear, and this is the quote I liked today. Okay, so this is a quote from Mae West, and I'm going to try and do Mae West voice.
Do it. Support Shauna's Mae West accent. Hashtag Shauna does a good Mae West accent.
That's now you're really building it up. Shit.
That's a long hashtag, too.
All right. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
That was amazing.
Was that good?
It was amazing.
I like Mae West.
Hashtag Shauna is amazing. Hashtag Mae West.
Hashtag Shauna does celebrity voices from another era. That's a long hashtag.
Also long hashtag. Also hashtag.
Terrible. So
that was amazing.
This episode, we're going to be doing the second half of our psychic interview.
Ooh.
And it's really great. Continuing Shari.
That's a spooky music.
Shari's magical tales that you will hear about. No, it's really cool. And I got to ask her questions that like we were both wondering about, which was fun. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
it's awesome.
what about this? What about
I
that?
know.
And it's like, it's kind of fun to just not be like, tell me about my stuff, but more like, has this ever happened to you? Has that ever happened to you? Because you do wonder, like, if you're psychic, like, does weird shit just happen to you all the time?
Evil stuff happen to you?
Yeah.
Or, find out.
Like what you see in a movie. Like, right? We only know what we see or read because that's how we are.
Really, this whole interview is an excuse to ask Shari the burning questions we've always had.
I know, we're like...
She will now listen and be like, I knew that already.
Did we talk about, how we, like, texted her the questions? And then first she said... I
don't know if I did. I think it was before we started recording.
I can't... Okay, I'm, like, trying to remember the train of events. So you texted me...
Yeah, I'm like...
We should send the...
I said I need to see the questions because you had written them.
Yeah, I'd written questions for the
interview.
And you
were like, I have a migraine. I'm going to bed. I'll tell you on the drive.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I was like, fuck you. I'm not getting up.
Fuck you, Trisha.
I was like, my book is downstairs.
Yes. We have a 40-minute drive tomorrow. I'll tell you on the drive. And I was like, oh, okay. A second later, Shari texts, do you have questions for me that I can see before I see you guys?
And we were like...
And I was like...
She's psychic.
Oh my gosh, she's totally psychic.
And then we were like, whoa. And then I just had to remember the questions because I still could not go downstairs.
And then Shauna remembered them and texted them. Miraculously for Shari, Shauna was like not unavailable to text the questions.
Well, I just made them up because then I felt like I had to do it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just you.
It was pressure because it wasn't just
an outside person.
No, see, but therein lies the truth right there.
Oh, yeah. Because,
Because I don't count.
Because you're like family.
Because I don't matter.
Your family, and I can tell you I have a migraine.
It's okay.
And I can just turn off.
You can turn your phone off and lie to me. And then
there's no
text
lying.
Somebody else.
I'm not lying.
But if she had texted you without me on the text, You
I just felt obligated.
I'm just kidding.
You shut up. Why? This is a weird conversation.
Totally.
Hello.
I'm gonna cut that part out.
No,
okay,
it's funny.
next time.
Or not.
I mean, next we have what's next? Oh, snack.
Wait.
No.
First, we're gonna talk about our pod-iversary.
Oh,
and we sound like an
shit.
old married podcast couple right now with our little dumb arguments.
It's only 1 year, guys.
It's perfect.
1 year.
1 year. Next week.
We made it a year. The 19th is our pod-iversary. And coincidentally, our first episode dropped on the 19th of February last year. I don't know if it was a Tuesday or what, but it dropped on the 19th. So we literally have a pod-iversary. Like,
on
boom,
the day.
On the day. So what will we do?
I don't know. We've been talking about getting tattoos.
Shauna wants to get a tattoo on her wrist, you guys. Like on her palm facing up on her wrist. And I think she'll hate it.
So then
and
we
then she will
one.
bitch about it forever to me. And she'll be like, oh my God, why'd you let me
Why will I do that?
Why'd you let me get this tattoo on my wrist? It's so weird. And I see it all the time. And it's like in my face and I can't cover it up. And it's like out there. And I thought it was cool, but it's not.
I'm like, why did I get this
Those are the
weird...
things she will say to me.
And I'll be like, why did I get this weird tattoo of Mae West's face? And then I like make it talk to me. I'm like, why don't you look at my wrist sometimes?
Look, mine already faded off.
So then we drew them on our hands. I mean, on our wrists. I drew mine with my left hand, which is why, first of all, it looks terrible. Also, I'm not an artist.
A weird, fucked up hashtag.
Also, I drew it with a purple pen.
So we're trying to draw a bench, by the way. Okay. So I drew a bench. Mine's way too big.
Yours looks like really big.
It looks
like as big as Mae West's face is.
You know what? It almost looks like a fucking QR code or something. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's stupid.
Okay,
Don't do that shit.
Okay.
Or like
that
a
technology
barcode.
Won't exist by the
like
time
a weird
we die.
barcode. Like what are we like? We don't want to get tattoos right here. That's like, isn't that like where they put them for the Holocaust?
No, that's like up here.
Oh,
but that doesn't.
I'll cut that part out. It just occurred to me. I was like, oh my God, if we get like some lines right there, it's going to look weird.
I don't know.
Up here?
People,
I thought it was right.
Usually, but it was like here.
Like here. Oh.
I don't know.
We're doing a lot of pointing and gesturing. Gesturing.
Jesus. It's a little late. I think Trisha may still be tired.
No, but gesture and gesture has like always been really hard.
She'd be like, she used to do these, they were called gesture drawings, and she used to call them gesture drawings. And I was like, what are they?
Because gesture sounds like a clown. And I
gesture, not jester.
I picture the word differently in my head, and it comes out of my mouth in a really weird way.
It's wrong.
Okay, so, I'll have to put a poll. Like, should we get a tattoo? Should it say the word right? I feel like that would be a cool word to write across our wrist.
Should it say write it, bitch?
Write it, bitch. And then, like, my kids can't look at it.
Yeah, I'm all, it's like, I'd have to put that somewhere hidden, like on my side or something. Yeah, somewhere where nobody.
On your butt.
Only advanced age people can see it. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Only the retirement community can look at Shauna's tattoo because it has a bad grown-up word. Yeah, I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do either. There's some quotes that I'd like to do, but they're kind of long.
Some quotes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like our quotes. Quotes from
like quotes on a tattoo, you mean?
Yeah.
I thought you meant just read them, and I'm like, that's not really exciting. I'm like, you read quotes all the time.
All right, no, not Mae West. I was actually joking
so, like,
about
a
that.
quote, I feel like would be better suited somewhere else, like on the back of a shoulder.
This is too big. For the wrist, it's just like a little symbol or something.
You have to either have a symbol or
just like
word.
one word.
Or like back of the ear, which about that would be cool. Or like maybe lower back of the neck.
Yeah. But I kind of want it to be somewhere where I can see it.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Upper thigh. Full on upper thigh.
Full thigh spread.
Just a whole
I'm going to attribute that to Paul Poundstone. That's not my joke.
Thigh spread.
Yeah.
Full thigh spread words. Just just fill it up.
Like a really long
just
quote.
like a whole chapter. Whatever the fuck will fit.
It was the best of times. It was the
like,
worst
call
of
me
times.
Ishmael. Just like go on from there. Just fill that shit up. And then no one will worry about your full-sized bread anymore. Neither will you, because you'll be like, oh my God, fucking chapter fits on my thigh.
I'll be like, I got the whole
bad motherfucker.
I can do the whole quote, or like a whole sonnet or something,
right?
like something long,
all right there, the
something
whole thing.
wide. Maybe not a sonnet. Oh my God, where did this conversation go?
It went to the place it needed to be.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna celebrate the Pod-iversary. There'll probably be like a lot of snacks.
There should be.
I mean, there should be like a big snack-iversary.
I feel like
Pod-iversary.
I feel like maybe we should
Right-iversary.
take every song that we've tried to sing on the podcast and mash them together in one medley. That's a big feat.
Why would you Why would you make that? That's
why
so
would
hard.
you make that a goal for yourself, Trisha?
So hard.
I don't know why, but I wish someone would do that for me.
Now you have to do it.
Maybe someone else wants to do that.
Maybe we'll pick our favorite songs that we did. Actually, that might be kind of fun,
right? Like just a little medley.
Well, we didn't do the quote thing. I mean, I'm sorry, not
we
the
didn't.
Quotes. The words the whole time.
No,
we started that later.
Yeah, I don't remember what episode we started doing that, but like, what if we went through? There were singing on almost every episode.
We can't do that.
I can almost guarantee.
But we could pick like
40 something episodes.
2 songs.
Top 2.
I'm trying to make it easier. You're all, I'm going to do something really complicated.
I'm going to stay up till 4 in the morning and I'm going to listen to every single podcast. Maybe.
Wow.
All right.
You were so serious right
now.
The
snack book is melting.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
we must move on.
We need to get to our snack book.
Give me that snack book.
I'm having a snack.
Yes.
It's called Soy Creamy. I don't know why that was lewd. It's a soy non-dairy frozen dessert. Well, that just took all the sexiness right out of there. Non-dairy frozen dessert. Cherry chocolate chip. It's from Trader Joe's. It's actually really good.
No dessert should be called frozen dessert. Just name it and go with it. Don't call it frozen dessert. Just call it soy creamy.
Or even like soy ice cream.
It sounds really dirty.
So this is actually like one of my favorite snacks.
You are.
Because, right. Because I've been taking these gluten-free cookies and like heating them up in the microwave. Trisha, I can't do the Heimlich maneuver right now. I just can't. Don't choke on a chocolate chip or a cherry.
I'm good.
There was so much alliteration. Don't choke on a chocolate chip cherry.
I'm good.
All right. I would heat up the cookie in the microwave, and then I would put this soy creamy dessert beverage, or what's it called? Dessert beverage. It's frozen non-dairy dessert. It's the worst name. But it was really good. I've already ruined it for everybody, but it was delicious.
Okay. So I had this dream that you and I had a job, and we didn't know what the job was.
Wait, that sounds like this podcast.
I know. So we were sitting in this room together, and they gave us a whole bunch of candy and popcorn.
What? Was it? Were we dead? Was it heaven? Just kidding.
No.
Were there recliners?
I don't know. Maybe. So we were sitting there together, and we have all these like mini marshmallows and popcorn, and we're like eating it, and we're just like talking. But we were supposed to be testing it for movie popcorn snacks.
Oh.
Which is like the perfect job for us.
Right? Can someone...
If that's
Come
a
on,
job.
Guys.
Is
Can
that
we make
a job?
this happen? Can we do this?
So in my dream
Top
it was a
secret.
job.
Soy creamy.
Except-
Anybody.
except-
show up for us.
We didn't know that was our job. So we just fucked around and ate the snacks. And then we got in trouble and fired for not reporting on the snacks. And we were like But we didn't know. Like, we were all like, oh, we didn't know we were supposed to do that.
We were just as dumb as we are in real life. Right. Maybe dumber.
Like a half semi truck pulls up.
What?
And we're responsible to like unload this like prop and costume trailer into the truck. Just the two of us.
Oh.
We go in there.
We know how helpful I am in that situation. Trisha used to do this all the time for a living. She was a freaking badass. She wore like boots and she moved shit and knew about it. And I'd be like, I can carry these 5 small things.
So
I'll hold the door open.
So we go in and there's like a guy laying on the ground with blood coming out of his head.
Shit.
But we think it's a prop. So we go on for a while just loading shit into the truck.
Where is he? He's by the door?
By the door, laying on the ground. We just like step over him. We're just like, we're so pissed. The whole time we're talking about how pissed we are that we didn't get to like sample the popcorn for the movies.
We're like, fuck this dead guy. Like, we don't care.
Marshmallow popcorn would have been brilliant. Blah, blah, blah. You were like going off about orange flavored marshmallows and how they would like make orange crushed popcorn.
Ooh. Don't steal that, anybody. That might be our next big thing.
I don't know. So you were just going off. And we thought he was like just a prop.
Creamsicle corn.
Exactly.
You heard it here first. Sorry.
So then we realized that the guy on the ground is Aaron, my husband.
And we're just like, oh, poor Aaron.
Is this the I'm like, oh shit, where are my kids? And they come in, and then the whole truck everything starts whirling around like fucking poltergeist. And we were like, oh my God, it's haunted.
Haunted prop truck.
I don't know.
Were your kids okay, or did they also have head wounds?
We took my kids off the truck. We fixed up Aaron.
Your kids were in the truck?
Yes.
They were props.
I don't know where they came from. They just like popped out.
Oh my God.
Like real life.
Yeah.
So we like took them out of the truck, took Aaron out of the truck, and then somehow Edgar was there too, but he was just like in a full-on suit, like in charge of things, and we were like, why didn't you tell us what our job was? That was like the whole thing. Like he forgot to tell us what our job was. And then from there, just like is a sequence of us trying to reload the truck, and it was really a mess. And then the poltergeist thing keeps happening. And it was kind of scary actually in my dream.
Sounds actually really scary.
Yeah, like we were afraid like this whole like spiritual thing in the truck was gonna like kill us or something, because it had obviously hurt Aaron earlier.
That we apparently didn't want to acknowledge.
We had noticed that it was him.
Poor Aaron. We'll deal with that later.
For a while, we were just like stepping over his body.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know what this says about me as a person.
Is Aaron secretly
I'm more concerned about snacks than my husband. I'm like, God damn it, that was a good job. Oh, what the fuck is this person laying here on the ground bleeding?
There's a person. Oh, it's Aaron.
It's horrible. But anyways,
Jesus,
it was a weird dream, but a dream job. But
you
a
know
weird
that
dream.
I keep dreaming. The worst thing.
What?
I keep dreaming that I'm my age that I am right now.
That's horrible. Oh my God.
Wait, I'm not done. And then I decide I'm gonna go back to high school.
Oh fuck.
Except I'm like, but I already went to college. And I'm like, I say that like in my dream, I'm like, but I'm gonna go back to high school and like take a different like path.
At this age.
Yeah. But I don't seem like I'm as old as I am now. I don't know, it's like a weird thing. And then I'm like there and I'm like, and then the same thing that always happens in my dreams. I don't go to my math class. I don't know what they're doing. It's like horrible. It's so horrible, Trisha. And it's like so real though. It's like I'm going to go back to high school and just like get this shit done again. And then I'm going to do college again, I guess, too.
Wow.
It's weird. It doesn't make any...
It's a lot of pressure on you.
It doesn't really make any sense either.
It's a lot of pressure because you have to, like, learn new math now.
I can't even, and it's not like I'm starting from the beginning of high school. It's like I'm going to do my senior year over. But I had a great senior year, so there's no reason to redo it, like, at all. Mm-hmm. Like, it was fine. Like, I don't need to do that again. It's weird.
It's super weird.
It's kind of stressing me out whenever I think about it, because I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know why I feel like I have to do that again.
Yeah.
It's like I'm at a point where I like don't know what my career is or something, but I do know what my career is. And also we have this. And like, so it's like that's
part of you is like maybe yearning for the freedom of the senior year where you're just stepping off into a new like adventure.
But it's super stressful in my dream though. It's
horrible.
It's not fun.
Whenever I have weird school dreams, it's always that I didn't study.
Yeah.
Losers will be shot. There are
totally
finals.
Is.
It's
it
always
totally
that.
Is.
And it's always
for
that
me,
weird.
It's always math.
It's always that weird
nightmare.
panic dream. I mean, let's just lay it out here, people. Shauna and I took like math for dummies in college. Like we took like the easiest math class we could take because we hate it.
But no, also because we weren't smart enough to take any other math.
Not smart enough to take any other math class.
I used to call it low end of the food chain math.
Yes,
that's what we took, and we scraped by.
We barely made it, and we took some pretty complicated other classes, but we could not do it with the math. No, we just had to get through basic
We're
addition.
Like a fucking horrible stereotype of women right now. We're like Barbie, like math is.
You know what we are? We're a horrible stereotype of English majors.
Yeah, we're just humanities people.
Or we're just
don't judge us.
We're not a stereotype. We actually are just them.
Yeah, but we like exemplify that stereotype.
We do.
Like,
we perpetuate the myth.
We're dancing around in a broomstick skirt and we don't know how to do math. Like, that was it.
And it was true.
And both of us work in jobs where we deal with fucking numbers all the time now.
Yeah, budget all the time, right?
That was like universe payback, dude.
My job likes to budget all the time. Budget all the time. Budget all the time. And I'm the worst at math, but I can do it.
You're going to spill your drink.
You're going to spill your drink.
Okay. Anyway, so now we're down to a snack book that turned into a weird dream / other thing. No, it's okay.
All right.
Okay, we're going to do one writing exercise that that leads into the rest of our interview with dear Shari, the psychic.
Write it, bitch. Okay, so don't forget about Ventura Club because it's due on this Friday, the 15th. 15th, right?
You better bring it with that Aphrodite stuff.
Bring that Aphrodite love shit.
Do it.
Or not love shit.
Or it can be like whatever you want it to be.
Could be spooky. Spooky.
We don't have to tell anybody because people come with the best stuff. Like especially the last month, I was like, okay, I don't even know what people...
you guys advice because you already fucking kill it.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. So
just do
let's
that.
get some new people.
Oh yeah, right?
Hey, new people. Show up. Write something.
Also, writer community, hashtag writers.
Yeah.
Hashtag am writing, whatever.
I guess we need to hashtag that more to get them in.
Yeah, contribute.
Tap your hashtags.
Tap that hashtag.
I don't know what I was trying to say there.
I don't know either, but it was weird.
Tap your writer friends, but then somehow I said
like
tap
somehow. Maybe you meant tag your writer friends.
I don't know.
How about this?
I give up.
On this episode,
yes,
tag your writer friends.
Oh.
And I'll send you a sticker or something.
Get a new friend to come write, and you'll get a sticker.
Ooh, a button.
Or a button.
Ooh, you want to write a bitch button?
Yes, you do.
I know you do.
You do. I want one.
You do. Come on. Do
I have to bring a friend?
Why am I talking to a 2-year-old? Like, what's
You're
wrong
my
with me?
only friend. So I already brought you, and you brought me.
I'm here. You're here. We're done.
Okay, we got it. All right, so so we did a list for our Write It Bitch this week because we've been thinking a lot about psychic things.
Yes.
So we made a list of psychic things.
Yes, we did.
To go with our psychic episodes. So here's our list of psychic things because there was something in this episode where I was like, oh, I want to use that in a character. And I need to re-listen to all of the interview carefully because something Shari said made me think like, oh my gosh, like we should put that.
I said that when we left. I was like,
and
we have to put this in.
But there was something specific.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is right now. I need to like literally listen to it and keep stopping it because I don't remember. But anyway, list of psychic things. Okay, so here are a few. I will read a few, and then Trisha will read a few. Dead people talking to you.
Booyah.
Classic. Lights flashing off and on.
All the time.
Always. Crystals just doing stuff.
Yeah. No, I wore my clear
Flashing,
crystals after Shari was talking about clear crystals, like the crystal, what'd she call it? Chain around her house.
Oh my God. Really quick side bench on the crystal. So I found, did you find the one that I gave you?
Yes.
And it's like a long crystal.
I have a necklace one too. That's a clear one. Yeah.
So I found the one that we had. Guess what happened this week? I totally forgot to tell you. Oh, no, I did tell you, I think, in a text, but I wanted to talk about it on the podcast.
Do it.
So all week, Edgar was like dying from this backache.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like super, like, he's not a baby about pain. He actually usually handles it pretty well. And he was like doubled over in pain. And I was like, you have a backache? Like, that's weird. He was like incapacitated, like almost like crying, like
and
couldn't
he hadn't
move.
done like anything.
No,
big,
it was kind of like, oh, I pinched a nerve
thing.
is what he thought.
Okay.
You know, like,
sciatic or
like I pinched a nerve in my back or something because that's happened to him before. And he's goes to the chiropractor and he's fine. And so we had him go to the chiropractor. Thought he'd be fine. The whole week he's like dying, and I'm like, well, sometimes it takes like a day after the chiropractor, and then you're like, it's kind of sore, and then you're like, fine, you know. Yeah. So then I'm kind of waiting, and then I was like, by like the third day, he's like suffering. Like almost like moaning in pain.
You're like pulling out your
can't do
Armageddon
anything.
Meds like to help him. You're
well, I
take
have some things right here.
Antibiotics.
I was like, go to urgent care. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. It's kind of scaring me a little bit. Like, this is weird. Goes to urgent care.
Too much pain.
Tells him he pulled a muscle because he thought that's what he did. So they just gave him a bunch of drugs.
Really?
Because that's what they do. I'll share later.
Ow, I pulled a muscle.
Or maybe I'll hold on to some of them for the zombie apocalypse. So either way, so then the next day he was like doing
helping.
He was like doing all these stretches, he'd taken pills, he was like still like in a lot of pain. And then the next day, I don't know, I'm losing track of the days, but anyway, like then the last day he's kind of feeling like messed up, and I'd given him like these like patches that you put, they're aspirin so they like numb your nerves and stuff, and you feel better at least. Anyway, okay, sorry, this is a super long story. I didn't mean for it to be so long. The last day, he comes like running out of the bathroom and he's like, Shauna, I think I passed a kidney stone.
Holy shit.
And so then we both run look at the toilet.
Let me see what
that's how it is.
Like. Yeah.
No, and it looks like little like pieces of gravel.
Oh, wow.
Like not that big though, like little like.
Did it really hurt?
He said it didn't hurt when it came out. It's the passing through. So the back was his kidney. So the rest of the day,
and no doctor. Like,
the rest of the day, he's like peeing out gravel.
Oh my fucking God!
But he was like fine. And actually, he was like, it doesn't hurt.
At that point,
it hurt
he was
all
like
before.
Over it.
Yeah, it hurt all before. And I think he'd broken it up because he had stretched so much. He was doing like the tennis ball on his back. So I almost feel like he broke them up himself accidentally, not knowing that's what it was.
Okay, so
holy shit, you guys! If your back hurts bad and it's not a muscle thing, because there's a difference between muscle pain.
What's it have to do with the crystal?
Oh, I gave him the crystal to hold it. I forgot why I started telling this story.
When he peed the gravel? Or
no,
before?
when he was just in pain, I was like, hold on to this. I don't know. I just was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, here's a crystal that I found in my house.
This will protect you.
I don't know. You don't know what to do anymore when somebody's like dying in pain. Like you're kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what's wrong with you. Yeah. Like, and I kept telling him to the doctor.
It's crazy that no doctor like diagnosed it. Though.
Well, I think when he went, he was like, I think I pulled a muscle. Yeah, you know, and he was like all like normal about it.
And they were probably like push. Oh
yeah,
ow, it hurts.
Seems like you hurt yourself. Here's some medicine.
When they should have done an ultrasound on his kidneys or whatever.
But he didn't say it was like You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
you can't diagnose your own kidneys.
but even the symptoms he gave them were like not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he could have gone either way. Anyway,
Yeah.
you guys, if this happens and the pain goes on for a while, go get that shit checked out.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe mention, check my kidneys, please.
your organs, they're there. They got.
It sounds horrible.
Don't do it or do it. We don't know. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. That was a long side bench. I'm so sorry.
I'll cut the whole thing out.
Edit it.
I'm just kidding.
It's a great story, though.
It's a good story. All right, so another part of our list: people talk in your head. You always get to pick the shortest line at the grocery store. We both have trouble with that.
I mean, I feel like that's like, if I was psychic, that'd be like the first thing I would do. Because you always pick the line and then you're like, this line's short. There's only one lady and she has like one thing. And then she's using 5 coupons and like writing a check and like.
Target too.
It's what the fuck? Nobody writes a check
and then
anymore.
We would like to know, and Shari, maybe this is a follow-up question for you. Can you win the lottery?
Or can you tell us how to win it?
Yeah.
Or can you help us pick the numbers?
Dude.
Or can we say the numbers?
We'll split it 3 ways, and you can just like wink.
Yeah, you can like nod.
Right, yeah. Or like if it's right.
Blink twice.
Yeah. You can like flip your fairy hair, and like if it's wrong, you can like spit. I don't know. All right.
Why did you spit? That's weird.
All right. Do you want to do the last ones?
Oh, yeah. Wait. So where were we? Win the lottery. Okay. You know about tarot cards. So, like, we think psychics know about that.
They do.
Auras are a thing you can see.
They are.
Chakras don't shock you. We had to end with, like, a bad, horrible pun. So that's our list. Sorry, I had a big side bench kidney stone story in the middle.
It's okay. I bet Shari would have been able to like see that shit right
Yeah,
away.
she would have been like, it's a kidney stone.
She'd be like, hi, Edgar. I don't want to give you too much information, but your kidneys are on fire.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of rocks in there.
Yeah.
Apparently you're supposed to drink like lemon juice.
Just lemon.
Lemonade.
There's a lot of lemon.
Make lemonade out of that shit. Oh, God.
It's horrible. Poor guy. I'm so sorry.
I know. That was a weird writing prompt that went in a weird direction.
It's awful for him, though.
So, he's fine now.
Don't get that, you guys.
Don't do that.
All right. So now it's time for you to hear the rest of our interview with Shari.
Yes. Let's listen.
Here we go.
Do you like to see shows or baseball games or other events?
Then you've got to check out our new sponsor, Seat Giant. Go to seatgiant.ca and use the code BENCH to get a 5% discount on your tickets. That's to music, sports,
and other items.
Yes, and other items. So that's Seat Giant, code BENCH, and the link will be in the show notes.
Oh my God, I'll do that right now. Click, click, type.
Look at that.
Click.
Happy customer. Saving 5% with code BENCH.
Guests on the bench.
And they'll do it, which the thing is, I think is so amazing about spirit and angels and guides and stuff is that they're always there to help us in every possible way. We just don't ever ask them.
Yeah, how do I ask them for help?
I just asked.
Can you see that I'm struggling? No, well, I need all these things. I need the stones. I need the sage. Yeah, I'm gonna sage myself.
It's literally about
I love the asking for
it's
help.
all about gratitude. When you start with gratitude of just thank you for being with me. I know you're there. Thank you for being with me. And here's what I'd like help with. For my highest and best, but then you have to release it, okay? Because we get this idea in our head that it's gonna look like this, okay? And then we can only see, it's like looking through a keyhole. Do you ever hear that? It's like an old Indian story about 3 guys that were touching an elephant, and they asked each, and they were blindfolded, and they each were touching a different part of the elephant, and they asked them to describe what they were touching and what is this? And they all said different things, and nobody understood that they were touching an elephant because one guy was touching the tusk and one guy was touching the tail and the other guy was touching the leathery skin of the body. And so they all had this myopic view. And so that's where we are. We have this myopic view. We have this idea that we're going to have I want this to happen. Okay, so you all know that I am a director with Mary Kay. So when I earned my first pink Cadillac, I always had it in my mind that it was going to be the sedan, the DeVille, or whatever it was at that time, the car. Okay, and actually, as it turned out, when I earned my Cadillac, they didn't offer that anymore. It was an SUV. So I had this idea in my mind, the visualization of the pink car in my driveway. And so when I got the car, it was so much better because it was bigger and it was faster and newer and it had the third row of seats and the hatchback and it had all the XM radio. It was awesome. But I kept looking out my office window at my driveway going, that doesn't look like what I visualized.
Yeah.
So it kept, like, it was bothering me because it didn't look right, even though the thing was better. So we get this idea in our mind of what it should look like, and we can't let it go. So when you thank them and you ask them for help with a specific thing, let it go, because they're going to deliver it better than what you have even already put together in your mind. But we limit them, because humans have free will, and limit their ability to help us, because they won't intervene if we don't ask. They don't psychic without permission either. They won't just come in if we don't ask them. But then you have to let them move the cogs and the pieces around, which sometimes is painful, to bring you the thing that is better, because they will. But we have to allow it.
So can you talk about like what spirit guides are and about yours, if you're comfortable talking about your spirit guides, or I don't know, is that what you call them? Or
If they're comfortable with me talking about them.
So if they're here
need
for
like to sign a form, like
we have
a
a release
waiver.
form. Well, it's audio, not video, so it's okay. I do. I have several. One of my spirit guides is my Aunt Dora. She was my grandmother's sister. She lived here in California. And my younger son, Dylan, is actually named for her. When she passed, she came and she would visit me all the time, and she would give me guidance, and she would blink the lights in my house, and like if I moved from room to room, the lights would blink in the different rooms, and so I knew it was her. I could sometimes see her, but it was more of a clear cognizance. Like I just knew that it was her. And then finally one day she asked me to do something. She wanted me to call her granddaughter, my cousin, and tell her something. And I said, "Listen, old woman, I'm not doing another darn thing for you until you admit that you're my spirit guide." So she did. But one of the things that was really amazing about her when mediumship came in so strong. You guys have seen, I'm sure everyone has seen that movie Ghost with Demi Moore. And remember Whoopi Goldberg gets, like, she realizes she can talk to the people,
real people,
and they all come flooding in, and she's completely overwhelmed. So I'm completely overwhelmed. I feel like I'm in a mob, I'm constantly in a subway station. There's just millions of voices. And so Dora, who was about 4.5 feet tall. I mean, really just not a tall person at all.
A tiny person.
Very tiny person, and this tiny little woman. And she comes into this, remember I said I had a room where people will stand, right? And so she comes in the middle of the room and she slams down this metal pole, because I was completely overwhelmed by the voices, and slams down this metal pole. And on the top of the pole is one of those deli counter take a number things. And she
That's
said,
such a good visual.
It was awesome, because I literally watched this little woman and say, "Okay, take a number." And she never was like a cross person that I remember or anything, but she was formidable.
Yeah.
And so and every single one of them, they took a number and then they all disappeared. And through the time, as I've worked with people, they've come back where they were when it was their time to come forward. But she silenced everybody in my head. She
organized them, yeah.
So not only is she my spirit guide, but she's also what's called a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
So one of my spirit guides is an old Indian woman who comes from time to time, and I learned maybe a year or so ago that she's actually my husband's great grandmother. There's a couple of it's not anybody that we ever knew.
Right.
And then another one of my guides is my little hand that's been on my shoulder. I always called him George. So when I got a tattoo of a manatee on my shoulder, his name is George. So I put it right there because that's where my spirit guide is. And he's been with me for my whole life. It's literally just the hand, like from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
It's just a hand that's on my shoulder. Well, I'm going to stick with the Addams Family. But he just sits on my shoulder, and he squeezes. and I can feel him when I get nervous about something. I'm like, "Are you there?" And he squeezes in my shoulder, and I just know that he's there.
He's like a support? Or?
Yeah, he's a guide, and he doesn't talk to me, but I do feel like a lot of times I feel like I lean or turn and I'll notice things that I wouldn't have noticed otherwise. Of just like having a hand on your shoulder that could guide you through like traffic or crowds or stuff like that. So it's very weird, but that's George.
That's so cool.
I love that his name is George.
Yeah.
It's just George.
So that's kind of your team? Or
That's
more?
Well,
that's like your main team?
That's my main team. Most of we all have like the main guides that are with you all the time, and then you have other ones that come in and out of your space for specific things. So you may have someone who can help you with a professional problem or a parental problem or a health issue, and so we all have different guides that come in and out as needed, more task specific. But we all have maybe 3 to 5 that are with us all the time, and she's not with me like every second of every day, but she's there when I need her. So, but those are my guides, which means they can come in as they want. So because they have my implicit permission.
Yeah.
Whereas other guides, it's like, okay, we're waiting, and angels too, we're waiting. So constantly, where I live, it rains a lot. I don't like driving in the rain. It makes me very nervous, and people are stupid. You live here when it rains, people get stupid, right?
Yes.
So that happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So when I get in the rain, and if it's too much and it's making me nervous, I just kind of take a breath and I go, I know you're with me. Thank you for being with me. Please, can you make it better? I don't ask them to stop the rain because the rain is important, but I ask them to make it better. And literally within a half a mile, it's like usually about 4 to 6 seconds, and it lightens up whatever it is, and it's just better. So... and then usually about 5 more miles, I have to ask them again because the rain is important.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, okay, I'm here now. Can you please make it better? So, but yeah, if you just ask, it's really amazing the things that they can do.
What's the difference between what you're calling angels and guides?
I was just gonna ask that.
Oh,
I'm so
really?
glad you did. I was waiting to see if you were gonna ask it because I was gonna ask that.
Just curious. Yeah, switch around.
okay,
my
so-
legs are falling asleep.
Angels are non-human beings with the wings, but they don't look like the little cherub Valentine Cupid,
All I picture is like Castiel from Supernatural. Like that's my angel.
Those angels are scary.
Yeah.
Though.
Actually, really more like is the Matt Damon and Ben Affleck from Dogma.
Yeah,
the archangels.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So because archangels are fierce warrior angels,
Right.
but most of them the angels are not they've not incarnated, whereas some guides could have incarnated and some are not. Okay, guides.
So that doesn't mean they weren't a person who died.
Well, like my aunt is a person who died,
Right.
and she had lived so many lifetimes. Like if you meet somebody and you feel like they're an old soul,
Right,
they
right.
can choose when you pass. You can now choose: do you want to come back, or do you want to stay and be a guide, or
Right.
just maybe you just want to stay and kind of take this next round off? So she chose that she wanted to just stay and be a guide, right? So, but when you're thinking about multiple lifetimes, I mean, it's really like when do you?
That was what
break.
my mom was in that same kind of state.
Okay.
Where she chose to be a guide.
Because she stays with you.
Yeah.
And then, is there something that she's connected to your daughter too? Okay. I remember that. But so Dora chose to be a guide. George has just always been with me. So George chose to be with me, but to say that, but realistically what happened is before I even came into be this body, I had, picked my guides before I was born. So they were with me, so the whole time. But angels it's different. There's I want to say a hierarchy, but it's not a hierarchy. It's just different rungs on the ladder. And so the guides are more closer in vibration to where we are. And it just is about different jobs, of what the angels do and what the guides do and things like that. But because there's no time or space, when we ask for them to come, 50,000 people can ask for Archangel Michael to come and help them, and he would be in all places because they have that ability because there's no time or space.
Okay.
And now and later and all those things that's human constructs. Like linear time is a human construct. So it's not, there is only now when you're on the other side. So I don't know if that clarified it or made it more complicated.
No, I mean, I think it probably is complicated, right? I mean, it's probably kind of hard for us to understand. It's sort of, I mean, I feel like I kind of get it, that they're not...
Let me explain it this way, because it is sometimes hard to get your head around. I've done a lot of research in my own personal past life regressions and multiple lifetimes and things that I had. And I found that I personally seem to have a lot of lifetimes that all were in the same century. But that doesn't linearly make sense. Mm-hmm. How could I be born in the 20s, die in the 50s, and be born again in, the 1800s, or be born in the 40s? Right. So that's linear time, which is a human construct. Mm-hmm. We have created that to keep track of what's going on. In the spirit side, everything is happening all at the same time. And that's the part that's really hard to get your head around, is that there's only a now. So you start talking into, it's not past lives, it's alternate lives or multiple lives, and it's not a regression, it's just a visitation or an exploration or a remembrance of an alternate lifetime, another lifetime. Oh. So there is no...
time's not
it's
a line.
Not a line.
Yeah,
it's
layers.
Like, and some people say bubbles and circles, and but any of that stuff, it's really... all of time is happening on the head of a pin. Like, it's all happening at the same time. There is no past. Like, today is Holocaust Remembrance Day. It was however many years ago, but it really wasn't, because there is no years ago, which that's the part that's really hard for us to understand. But the souls understand that, because for them, they can go back and be reborn wherever wherever you choose to, because when you come here born, you're coming to learn a specific lesson. So whatever glory or hardship that you're having is here because you have asked that to be part of your life experience, because you wanted to experience that. Your soul needed to experience that for its higher evolution. Mm-hmm. So it's very heavy stuff.
Just kidding. Well, can I renegotiate that contract?
Well, but yeah, the answer is yes. You actually can. You can.
That's so funny.
So, and you can actually do it. People are like, yes, well, that's where suicide is. I'm like, well, yeah. People are like, I don't like this. I want to try again. But you actually can renegotiate, like, with your soul's path. That gets into like dealing with your Akashic records and soul contracts and things like that. But you actually can take time to say, I want to redirect this path, and how do I redirect this path? And this is no longer the experience that I want to have in this lifetime. And so it's a slow moving ship, but in a lot of cases, and frankly in other cases, it's pretty instantaneous. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to shift. But yeah, you can absolutely renegotiate.
That's interesting.
It's kind of a fascinating meditational hypnosis kind of a thing.
So I have one, I don't know if you have more questions. I have one more question. So, yeah, because I don't know what your time looks like, but, or is it irrelevant?
It's all irrelevant. It's all relative.
Now is now.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting, because when you go with the flow of time and you can understand that concept, so hold on to your question, but because this is kind of an important thing, when you can understand that time is irrelevant, then time becomes malleable. So if you can understand that concept, you'll never be late again. Mm-hmm. You'll never panic over time. And
you just said this to me a few days ago. She said, I'm not worrying about my kids being late to school anymore, because we actually sat down and had a conversation the other morning, and I just took them when we were done. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm going to let go of that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter.
Because there's so much anxiety about it. And it's like, why? I mean, and at a certain point, I don't know. I had said, in Mexico, when I was young, when I went there as an exchange student, we would sit. It's hilarious how different it is. We would sit for an hour waiting for everybody to show up for the field trip, because it was our class and another class from a school there. And I was like, we would never do this in the United States. We would just leave. We'd be like, you missed the bus. Goodbye. You know? And nobody seemed stressed. Everybody was just chilling and hanging out and having a good time. And it was like one of those things where it like changed me though as a person, because I was like, oh, I've never experienced this before. I don't know what it feels like to feel this chill about time, you know?
Right?
Yeah. And
we're conditioned not to.
Yeah, no, we are so conditioned. And they make, with kids now in school, and when we were in school too, they make such a big deal about time and attendance and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, we do our best. I'm trying to be respectful of other people's time. I was like, but if we're late, sometimes we're late. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something else that we need to do. Or like I said, I was having a conversation with my son, and it's not; those are few and far between. So if I get one, we'll be late.
Trust me, I have boys. I understand. Middle school, I think they forgot how to speak English. So after, when they got back into high school, then they started to speak again. It was very nice. They came back to being like normal humans.
There's hope.
There's always hope. But it is really interesting because, and we are conditioned that way. So it's constantly this battle between like the human brain and the soul brain, because if the soul brain understands, time is fine. It's gonna be fine. So, I got to the airport early because the government was still shut down, and I didn't know what the TSA was gonna be like, but I just knew it was gonna be okay. And we sailed right through. It was like a regular day in Orlando. The airport was totally fine, and I was like, okay. And then as we were landing in Atlanta, there were like all these delays with the air traffic controllers and da-da-da. And my plane came in, the next plane went out. We had no problems. It was totally fine. My luggage got here before me. I don't know how that happened. In LAX, that never happens. And and I just knew it was going to be okay. And you're never late, and or if you are, it didn't matter. So, I remember I do show up late sometimes, and it's never my intention because I also want to respect people's time. But then they're like, oh, that's okay because the so-and-so called and all the other people were stuck in traffic and we all just pushed it back and it's all okay. Yeah. Like whatever it is, it was okay. And so there's no reason to stress about stuff. And I find that works with parking too, which is so awesome because then you have awesome parking karma because you can ask them to help you find a parking spot, but you just know you're going to find exactly the right parking spot, and you go down that first row and you're like, oh, look, a parking spot. And it just takes a lot of the stress out if you can understand that time is malleable. It changes so much of how we understand and how we deal with stress in our life because it's so unnecessary, because I know it's just going to be okay.
That's an important.
I think it's also remembering that you can ask for help.
Yeah, the asking for help thing. That was actually my question, just like as a tip for like us and for anyone that's listening. How do you connect with your spirit guides? How do you find them? How do you?
It's super easy. It's literally about asking. So we walk people through a meditation, and so we just ask people to sit quietly, and if you can put your feet on the floor, but you want to just sit comfortably, and you take a few deep breaths in and out to just kind of calm the mind. And then we walk through this visualization of relaxing and going downstairs. And so you're just getting more relaxed as you go down the stairs. And when you come out the stairs, you walk through, and this is just the one that I like, and you walk through the gate, and wherever you walk through the gate is a place that for you is very safe and comfortable. So when I have meditation, I always go to the same place because it's my place, and I have kind of created it in my mind so that I can go there very quickly, and I know, like, okay, I'm coming out the gate, I'm walking over the bridge, I'm going to sit down, I know exactly where I am. So you find your place, a place that's very safe and comfortable, and in nature. You want it to be in nature. You're not like sitting in the middle of, Fifth Avenue or something, but someplace calm and quiet. And we ask you to visualize that there's a path in front of you that's leading towards you. And then you're going to invite your spirit guide to come forward. Mm-hmm. And they will literally start walking up the path to you. And you can, and people feel like their imagination is... that using their imagination is like cheating or making it up, except for when you use your imagination, it's the way that they can communicate with you. Like the idea popped into your head that I have a hand on my shoulder because I imagined it. But why on earth would I have imagined that was my spirit guide, except for the fact that that's what they told me. Right. So those things that pop into your head that you would imagine, because I'm not that creative. Like I'm just not. I'm not an imaginative person. but these things that pop into my head, like I can see this woman and I can see what she's wearing and what she looks like and how she, like she looked like she stepped right out of Dances with Wolves. I mean, but I thought, well, maybe I'm imagining it, but why would I pick that? I'm like, logically, would you pick that? No. And so it's the things that pop into your head so quickly that come from spirit. It's the answers that come after a beat. Like people always ask me, how do you know it's your intuition and not your wishful thinking or whatever?
Right.
When you ask those questions, if you get that answer, it's like bam. Like before you can even finish thinking the question, you have a visual or an auditory, some kind of an answer. That's spirit. So when you sit down and you ask them to come to you, and you may have to wait because sometimes the path is long and they have to, get on up there. But be patient and wait for them to come walking up the path to you, and they will show themselves to you. But what you imagine that you're seeing walking up the path, I promise you is real.
You have to trust it. You have to like believe in yourself and your own ability to, that you're not falsifying something. Like I can see how people wouldn't.
Well, I mean, and just like to talk about like our writing community and stuff. I mean, we come up. We talk about this all the time, but
we
like
make up characters.
We make up characters, and sometimes they're very strong, and sometimes they're not, and we're kind of like, oh, we don't really know this guy. Like, we talk about them in a similar. It's funny because our characters are sort of like spirits in that.
Yeah, but if you kill them off, I can't talk to them.
We're like, oh man, what happened to him? Let's see if Shari can call him up.
Yeah, I can't do that. I mean, I'm good at it. Okay, so like behind you, there's this amazing basketball hoop game that belongs to my little cousin.
We're gonna
who's
play that later.
He's 8, but it's this awesome basketball hoop.
My kids would love that.
But yeah, I want one.
I know, it looks fun.
It's like a thing from an arcade, right? With this basketball hoop. But so somebody had to imagine this thing, and they had to think it up, and then they had to draw it out, and then it became reality. So like we all imagine the things that come into reality before they come into reality. So it's not any different that you imagine a basketball hoop or a character in a show or your spirit guide. It's all the same thought and energetic processes.
That's cool. Can you see, like, okay, so if you're meeting with somebody, do you have to connect with their guides or not? Like, do you see their, you know what I mean? Like, do you see their guides or?
If I need to, and I will ask permission. I had one woman, like you asked me if anything negative had happened. And so I had one instance where I was under psychic attack, and this woman came to me and she wanted to speak to her grandmother, and her grandmother was a very cross, mean, controlling person in lifetime. And so when I opened the door, I could see her, and she was like pushing the door closed. She didn't want the daughter to the woman to connect with her. She just didn't want any information. But the woman had questions for her grandmother that she just really felt like she needed answers. So in that situation, I was able to have my guides connect with her guides to get the information, because it's all kind of collective. And so they were able to get the information from the grandmother, and then her guides gave it to my guides, who gave it back to me. And so we were able to get answers. And later that evening, I was brushing my teeth, and all of a sudden I just felt completely like drained, like I was going to pass out, like somebody was sitting on me. I had to sit down, and my husband was like, "Are you okay?" And I was kind of sitting on the floor, and then I was like, "Okay, now I got to go lay down." Like I couldn't even get off the floor. I was just laying there, and I was like, this is psychic attack. Like, this is not natural. There's something wrong. Like, somebody is doing this to me. And when I asked, they said, well, who is doing this to me? The image came in my mind immediately of that woman, the grandmother. Oh, no. And I was like, okay.
She was mad.
She was pissed as hell. Yeah. She was so mad. And she was punishing me for not following her wishes. But don't mean to sound bad about it, but she wasn't the one paying me, but the woman sitting on my couch was the one paying me.
Right.
So my responsibility is to her.
Yeah.
So, you have this moment where you're like, okay, don't panic. You know all the stuff. You've been trained. You know what to do. And I was like, what do I do? Okay, so I remember I bring in the light, and then I pushed all the light out, and I thought of it like a bubble, that every time I took this exhale, the bubble was blowing up like blowing up a balloon. You take a breath and you blow it, and you take another breath and you can blow it more. So I was able to push her back enough where she couldn't get, like, she wasn't strong enough to get too close to me. And then I asked an angel to come in and cut the cords that she had attached to me.
Wow.
So it was a little bit scary. And I was very energetically depleted because I remember that was, must have been a Friday. Maybe it was a Thursday, because I remember we went to temple like that night or the next night we went to the temple. And I remember like somewhere when you go to Jewish services, you stand up, you sit down.
Yeah.
And at some point we were standing up and I was like, I have to sit down.
Yeah.
So I remember still feeling kind of drained and depleted for a couple of days, but then it was okay. And honestly, there are like vitamin things, supplements that you take. Like I'm very religious about taking B12 and B6 and things. When you do psychic work, it's really important that you're putting those vitamins back into your body because it can be very depleting. So, but that was really like the first time that somebody really tried to like get back at me for the work that I do.
Jerk.
But yeah, well, she was.
Yeah.
But that was how she was in life. And that's the thing. Like who you are here is who you are there. It doesn't change. Not some, step into the light and all of a sudden you're like magically nice. It doesn't work that way. They can be more aware. They definitely are more aware, but that doesn't change who they are. So, but now it doesn't happen anymore because now I know. Like I knew what to do.
Yourself.
Well, and that's the thing. When you know what to do, you're not a target. So in the beginning, I was very much more of a target for like dark energy and elementals and
Vulnerable.
Yeah, and like energy vampires because you are vulnerable. You're sort of out wandering around. It's like it's like the girl in the horror movies. You're like, don't go in there. Don't go in there, right? But you on the outside can see and yell at her in the movie screen, don't go in there. So I'm the girl that was like, oh yeah, this will be fine. I'll go in there.
Yeah.
But now I know, don't go in there.
Yeah.
So, but that's how you learn. So.
Well, how, I know you can do, I love your socks. Look, it's the
Manatee socks.
Oh, the manatee.
I have manatee socks. And they have no slips.
How can people work with you long distance?
Okay.
How does that?
It's easy. Energy is energy, so it doesn't matter where you are. So
Okay.
I work with people over the phone. I work with people like Skype or Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, Viber, whatever.
Okay, there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah,
now.
And I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I have a website where you can message me through any of that stuff. I'm on Yelp. I'm on Google. I'm really actually, as long as you can spell my weird last name, you can pretty much find me. I'm very easy to find. And they can just message me. So I had a scheduling app for a while, but it was just too much trouble. So I really would just rather work with people. So they can just text me or message me, and I always would get back to them and schedule whatever works for.
Okay. Well, we'll share your information in the notes of the podcast and on social media too. And did you want to do any sort of
I'm happy to. Yeah, I'm
or-
happy to. I'm happy to offer like 15% off of a reading or of a Mary Kay, order. So I'm perfectly happy to offer. I'm perfectly happy to help.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, so maybe if people mention Two Girls on a Bench or something like that.
Absolutely. So
Okay.
you need like a code word. So
Like
benchling.
Benchling.
Right? Isn't that the new word? I mean, I'm trying to
That's
stay
our
up
new
to be.
thing. Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
they
our
can
new
put
thing.
benchling and then they can
Benchling.
to have the code word.
Cool.
So if they just mention that when they
that.
contact me or in the comment section or
No,
something.
because I really have a feeling, especially after listening to your whole story and the way you explain things, I feel like it brings people with doubt to the table and gives them a little bit more of an open mind. And I could see someone wanting to try, like,
I hope so.
especially if they've never tried it before.
Right.
I have to say, I think you would be a great first try for someone who's not ever dealt with a medium, because you're very, I don't know, you're very warm and safe. Like, you protect the people you're talking to.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I even feel, just from my experience with you working with me, you were protecting me from things that I actually kind of pulled out of you because I wanted to talk about it. And you didn't want to say it out loud because, you didn't want me to be uncomfortable. So I think that it'd be a great place for people to start.
Yeah.
So
I always try when I sit down with somebody who's new, like I can tell the minute that they call me that they're nervous. I'm like, oh, she's just like terrified or whatever. But I always tell people, I'm like, look, I'm a normal person. I'm a mom. I got kids and dogs and, I'm like a normal person. And, I always ask them to just, sit down, take a couple deep breaths because it's going to be okay. And if there's something they don't want to talk about, then if that comes through, like we're just not talking about it. So it's okay. And they get to set the boundaries. And I just always try to tell people, like, I'm just a normal person. I can do interesting things, but I'm just a normal person.
Right.
You know,
With
there's nothing
really good skin and makeup.
It's true. I do look good.
She does.
She
yeah,
always does.
she does bring it with the good stuff.
The
for
fairy
sure.
hair. And
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
well,
smooth neck. How smooth her neck is. Oh my gosh.
Oh God.
Moisturizer.
Well, it's always better to do,
Am I surrounded by a
prevention.
negative aura right now?
No.
Like, I'm like the grouchy, Muppet guy today. God, sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway,
It's okay.
You just stepped in a little frustration. It's okay. We can release it.
yeah,
Shauna had one of those mornings.
yeah. One of those
But it's all okay.
5 years. I'm just kidding. One of those 5 years.
But it's all okay
It's
because
been
if you
going on.
recognize that all of that is for your highest and best good and you allow it to unfold, it's less painful. And you know that at the end of it, like if somebody had told me at the end of my nightmare with Bank of America that I was going to get they ended up, the government, there was this Department of Justice thing where they had to make restitution for all the people they tried to screw over. So we ended up having our whole second mortgage be eliminated. It was like $85,000. I'm like, ha!
So something
Yeah.
good came
So,
out of
yeah,
it.
but if I'd have known that that was going to be the thing, it would have been so much easier to deal with the drama.
Yeah.
But we don't know that there's going to be a thing. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a thing. And so if you
Yeah.
can hold on to the fact that whatever crap is happening is because it's shifting your life so that the good thing can come and you're waiting with expectancy and gratitude for the thing, it makes the crap so much easier to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense.
So you're not in a negative aura. You're just being restructured.
Okay, all right. Restructuring. I'll take it.
Okay.
There's like a little load
Maybe
bar.
renegotiating. I don't know.
It's just reshuffling the assets. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Shari. We always love to see you. We have such a good time with you, and we were so excited to interview you and record it all. So that was fun. So thank you so much,
my
and we
pleasure.
will
Thank you.
share your codes, the BENCHLING code, and your information out there. And
Well, wait a minute. Are you using BENCHLING for some other code?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, I mean,
That's what our listeners are now.
Okay.
Benchlings.
Okay. Well, so then they'll know.
they have spoken.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, I heard there was a vote,
decided.
so
Yeah.
I figured how better to validate the people than to choose their word. So okay. Well, I'm very excited to be included. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Now we have to turn it off. So then that's the thing.
Thanks for listening to our 2-part episode with Shari.
The psychic. By the way, did we mention she's psychic?
We have a friend that's psychic, Kay.
All right.
You don't.
We're so cool.
Or maybe you do. Maybe you know Shari. So then that's
but
not
anyways,
true.
also, remember in the beginning we said how good she looks? And her neck looks amazing. I swear to God, she's getting younger every time
Yeah,
I
I've
see
known
her.
her for a long time, and I'm like, why are you starting to look younger?
I swear to God, her skin is, her wrinkles or whatever. Not, she doesn't have wrinkles. She doesn't have wrinkles. You guys, like that's the thing. Like her face is getting younger.
So the point is,
Use the code BENCHLING on her Mary Kay
I'll
site
get to the point
to get some like fucking firming lotion or whatever whatever she tells you to get. We're using it.
She'll tell you what to do.
She will tell you what to do. She will diagnose your face and she will diagnose your soul.
Wow,
Oh,
that's a lot.
so you can
That's like a double whammy.
go to her website, use the code BENCHLING, get 15% off Mary Kay, or you can go to her psychic site and get 15% off a reading. You can do it on Skype. You can talk to her on the phone. You can text her, whatever. She's like super
And the
personable.
code is BENCHLING.
BENCHLING. So do that
Do it.
because she's the real deal, guys,
She really is.
for skincare and your soul.
And psychic
Just
stuff.
saying.
She knows about all those things that we listed.
She's super
She
down
knows
to
about it.
earth. And it's like if one of us was psychic.
She's down to earth, but yet in the clouds. Oh, that's kind of stupid.
No, but it'd be like if, so like if you were psychic and I
Yeah.
was like, my friend Shauna's psychic. It's like that. It's like this normal thing where
I think
she
either one of us
happens.
could be psychic too, actually.
we just
take,
like concentrated
Yeah, I just take too many pharmaceuticals now. I've blocked it all out. But I feel like
and I'm too floopy.
you're way up in the air.
But like, I mean, seriously, like, it's that down to earth though. It's not it won't be awkward. She'll help you.
It's not like
She'll help you chill.
What does Oprah say? Like, she's always like woozy woozy, or that's not what she says, but like airy fairy. That's not it either. There's something that Oprah says where it's just like silly, like like frivolous, like people think psychic things and like higher, higher power consciousness things are silly. Oh my God, I can't think of what Oprah says, but anyway.
Sean's going to find it, and I'm going to write it in the show notes.
It's like, if anyone is like an Oprah fan, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I cannot, for the life of me, remember what the phrase is, but it's...
What does Oprah say about psychic things?
Thanks.
No problem.
What does it say?
Well, so thanks, because it hurt you.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Here's what I found on the web for what does Oprah say about psychic things.
Yeah, I can't really understand this right now.
Shit. Okay.
That would have been cool. Let's see. Psychic abilities, Oprah.com. 4 signs you might be a psychic. See,
woo woo.
Woo woo.
That's what she says. She goes, it's not like woo woo.
Okay.
You know, like it's not
like woo woo.
I just
get
remembered
that.
it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like people think of it's like, oh, it's just like
Woo
fake and
woo.
like you're just a weirdo and like it's
Yeah.
crazy. Shari's not like that at all. She's like very normal.
No, you guys, she was like, oh my gosh, I think I might be psychic.
Like, when she told us, she's also I'm psychic. And...
So I like pushed this down about myself and then I brought it back up and now I'm like trying to figure it out. And it's a super down to earth. I mean, you'll listen to the interview, but it's super down to earth story.
Go on a journey with her. It's really interesting.
Check it out. And in the meantime,
if you want to like help out the show, if you're just thinking about it, strolling along one day, you can give us a 5-star review.
Share us with your friends.
Tell your friends about us.
Yeah. Reviews on iTunes, like Shauna said. Social media, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got a group called BENCHLINGS. Easy to remember.
If you've got a few pennies to rub together. Oh my God, I'm like an 85-year-old woman
for
right
a
now.
poor pauper like me.
2 bits. No, so
that would be Patreon.
Yeah, we have Patreon.
Yeah. You got money?
coffee.
Go to Patreon.
Yeah, or just a small amount.
Yeah, $1 a month.
Just a bit, sir.
Yeah. Yep. Help us. All it does is go back to feeding the podcast and the equipment and the everything. So.
Thank you guys for joining us
Thanks
today.
for listening.
And keep writing.
Keep snacking.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This was a podcast from the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.